On this next one, it says find the equilibrium price and then find the consumer surplus and the producer surplus at the equilibrium price level if P equals the D of X equals 90 minus 0.3x and P equals S of X equals 10 plus 0.01x. Now the formulas for producers and consumer surplus are given here. This first one is consumers surplus, and this other one is producers. Both of these formulas will be provided on the exam here. Okay, and now the first part is to find the equilibrium. The equilibrium is where the two are equal to each other, so where this one thing is equal to the other thing, called D of X and S of X. So we start with 90 minus 0.3x is equal to 10 plus 0.1x. And we basically just need to solve for x. So let's add over the 0.3x to both sides. And we'll have here 90 equals 10 plus 0.4x. Let's subtract over the 10 from both sides. So we're going to have 0.4x is equal to 80. We're going to divide out the numbers here to solve for x. X is equal to 200. Okay, and then what we need to do is find the corresponding price for this value of x. And we can use either formula in order to do this. I'm going to use the one that goes P is equal to 90 minus 0.3x. So we're going to plug in here for x. And I came out with a number for P is equal to 30. So now we've got two numbers we can use here. We're going to first find the consumer's surplus, which again, the formula for that looks like this here. We know the number for x and we know the number for P. Those are the numbers we have up above, though technically in the formula it goes by x with a line across the top, or x bar. Same thing for P, that's our 30. So we just need to put that in here also with our function D of X, which again, that's also up above, the 90 minus 0.3x. We just need to plug all that into our formula here. It'll look like the integral from 0 to 200 of 90 minus 0.3x minus 30 dx. Okay, and so that would be the integral from 0 to 200 of 60 minus 0.3x dx. And again, we're going to calculate this by finding the antiderivative. We're going to plug in the 200 minus, and then we'll plug in the 0. Okay, so let's go over here and write down our antiderivative. Our antiderivative here would look like 60x minus 0.3x squared divided by 2 plus a constant c. Another way of writing that is 60x minus 0.15x squared plus a constant c. Okay, that's what we'll need to use then to plug in the numbers from up above. So capital F of 200 minus capital F of 0 is equal to 60 times 200 minus 0.15 times 200 squared. That's the first part. Then we plug in 0, 60 times 0 minus 0.15 times 0 squared. And I came out with a total of $6,000 for $6,000. We call that the consumer's surplus here. Now, in order to find the producer's surplus, we're going to use this formula here, which looks very similar to the one that we just did. but there's not a whole lot of difference here. We're just going to use the same number for P and for X here. X is the 200 or X bar, and P is the 30. But we're going to use this S of X function, which is technically what they call a supply function, and that was where we started. Here was 10 plus 0.1x. So if we put all our numbers in here, it'll be the integral from 0 to 200 of 30 minus 10 plus 0.1x dx, which is going to be equal to the integral from 0 to 200 of 20 minus 0.1x dx. Okay, again, we'll find that by doing the antiderivative. Plug in 200 and plug in 0. And let's write down the antiderivative here. The antiderivative, capital F of x, is going to equal to 20x minus 0.1x squared over 2 plus a constant c. And so we could change that up a little bit, divide by 2, it would look like 20x minus 0.05x squared plus a constant c. That's our antiderivative here. Let's use that with the numbers we have up above to calculate everything. So we plug in f of 200 minus f of 0. That's going to look like 20 times 200 minus 0.05 times 200 squared minus 20 times 0 minus 0.05 times 0 squared. That's all going to be equal to here is a total of $2,000 for $2,000 is the producer's surplus.